To begin the process of batch importing attendance, hover over the Attorney Attendance tab on the dashboard and select Import Attorney Attendance. This will take you to the Attorney Attendance import screen. It is here where you will begin your file upload. The first step to loading your file is to click the Browse button and locate the file on your computer. Once your file is loaded into the Browse bar, continue by hitting the Next button below. After hitting Next, your file will load down below in the Attorney Attendance Import History grid. We have included a color-coded system so that you may better see the progress of your file. If there are no errors in your file, the file will load to the status of imported. This indicates that all of the attorneys in your file have been submitted. In this next example, we will show you what happens if there are errors in your file. The batch import process is designed to accept all good records and reject all bad records. All bad records will be shown as exceptions. When there are errors in your file, the file will load to the status of Imported with Exceptions. To view these exceptions, hover over Imported with Exceptions and select View Import Detail. The following screen shows you a breakdown of what was wrong with your file. The first heading, Exception Types for Records on this file, lays out what type of exceptions are in this file. The grid below, Detail Records with Selected Exceptions, will show which attorney's records are affected. You can fix these errors one of two ways. Correcting errors on the screen. You are able to correct the errors on the screen by clicking on the pencil icon to the left of the attorney's name. This will open the Edit Attendee Detail page. It is here where you can correct whatever the error may be. The grid at the bottom of the page will tell you what the exception is for this record. In our example here, the ARDC number does not match any MCLE attorney. We know that the ARDC number does not start with 7. After clicking Retrieve Attorney, it will load the correct information and the error is gone. Once corrected, you may hit Submit to submit the attendee. As you notice, the attendee has now been removed from the exceptions. For our next example, we will correct the record of Jane Bailey. To begin, you can start by clicking the pencil icon. As we scroll down, we can see that her error was that the reported credit hours cannot be greater than the course approved hours. You can scroll up to the top of the page to see that the total course hours approved were 2. However, she was entered with 2.25. To correct the error, we will enter in the correct amount of hours earned. Once submitted, you can see that she disappears off of the Selected Exceptions grid. As you can see, we still have 3 records with exceptions. The second option for fixing errors is by using the Export Exceptions button. Choosing this option will allow you to export a file with all the errors in your records. This is the best option to use, especially when your file has quite a few errors. By clicking the Export Exceptions button, it will delete out all the bad records in your original file and put them into an export file. This file can be accessed by clicking on the yellow button, View Export File with Attendee Exceptions. This export file will open as a CSV file that will list the attorneys and their exceptions. The nice thing about the export file is that you can make the corrections right on the file and then re-upload it into PCAM. The first thing you will need to do is to give the file a new unique transaction number. Once this is done, you can start correcting your exceptions. The first exception is name does not match ARDC number. Because we made the file, we know that the name is James Bailey, not James Haley. The next exception, PR credit reported cannot exceed value for the course. Again, because we created the file, we know that it's in the wrong column. It should be in column K, not column L. For our last exception, we entered the incorrect year. So now we will fix that to 2019 to make it the correct date. Once the file has been corrected, you can save as a new file. You do not have to delete out the error descriptions. Once saved, you can return to the import page and re-import the export file. Now you can browse out to find your corrected file. Once located, hit Next, and the corrected file will begin to load. Down below, you will see the progress of your file. Once loaded, and imported, the attorneys will be submitted.